Good morning. Let's take a quick look through the 2.5 goal list from yesterday. That might give us some respite, particularly as these Champions League sides decided to blow cold after delivering superbly last Saturday and Sunday, where we absolutely cleaned up. Why? Because we could trust them. PSG 1.16 for over 2.5 goals at the beginning of the second half. Absolutely dominant in all areas. Why on earth does this end 1-1? I just don't understand. I really don't. Last week, they were showing these kind of stats and they were delivering. This week, 1-1. Look at that, 3-0. That's what we expected today. We cleaned up this Saturday and Sunday because we could trust these sides. I was expecting a similar outcome today. The in-play stats backed it up. That's what I usually use as a confirmation tool. And as you can see, flat as a pancake. That was a derby style match, so arguably you wouldn't necessarily have got involved with that. But Sporting Lisbon as well, absolutely dominating against Santa Clara. It's inexplicable, but insurance, of course, would have got you out of jail there. I don't understand the sudden blowing cold of these major sides. Yes, it's a new manager for Sporting, of course, but the same weekend, PSG scored 3, Sporting scored 6. It's post-Champions League, indeed, but why can they suddenly do it that weekend and throw down the hatchet yesterday? Insurance would have paid there, of course. But let's have a look at the over 2.5 goals, because that's neutral. We don't have to fix an opinion on one particular team. And as you can see, it was delivering in the Premier League. And it's all about the timing of the goal as well. And if you get involved first half or second half. This, I showed you in the live stream. You can back over 1.5 goals second half. Boom. Chris Wood penalty. You're out with a profit. Just with one goal. That's why I love this 0-0 at half-time technique. In an over 2.5 goal match, by the way. These are all overs matches. As you can see, if you're getting 2 goals minimum, you're in with a really good shout at an overs play. I have 2 options for over 2.5 goals. The first one is to wait 15 minutes in the first half. If it's 0-0 after 15 minutes, back over 2.5 goals. All you need then is a goal before half time and you're guaranteed a return. Nice. Not sure from a negative perspective if we don't get a goal at half time. I think you'll make about a £20 loss to a £40 stake. So you make half loss, but you can get involved again second half, back over 1.5 goals at evens or higher in the second half. And then you'll only need a single goal between the 46th and 70th minute to get yourself a profit. This one, for example, if you played the first half, that would have been rewarded, but you wouldn't necessarily have played the second half. Here, probably the goal came far too early. No, it didn't. So if you played first half, that would have been excellent, but it wouldn't have opened up a second half play. Unless you want to back over 2.5 goals second half and look for another goal. So I'm going to put this in a kind of a video for you. My ideas. The key to success is in the choice of matches, isn't it? So we've got this is from the research, and it's going along the right lines, isn't it? Italian Serie A, for example, particularly newly promoted sides, very vulnerable. Dutch Eredivisie, a little quiet for Pek Zwolle, but Feyenoord again, another 1.25 favourite, who I bet you on the 22nd of November or 23rd of November delivered. There we go. Why, oh why do they suddenly under-deliver? Is it post-Champions League that's caught them out? It's very, very frustrating. And you clean up when you can trust, like AC Milan. But I trusted them last week. I trusted them this week. And look at them. Post-Champions League didn't turn up. So A bit of a mystery, but again, over 2.5 goals. All dependent on the timing of the first goal, of course. 5-0 for Atletico Madrid. Absolutely superb from them. So a frustrating day brought about largely by that trouble with trust issues for these Champions League sides. Let's have a look at, well, these are the other overs, but let's have a look at some of the Saturday highlights and we'll look on to today. So I'll do a live chat at 2 o'clock. It's going to be a quick one till about 3:45 because my brother wants to go and watch the Liverpool Man City match. So I'll be going for that, but I'll bring my electronics with me and I'll have my in-play stats feed up as well. But as you can appreciate, very rare to see the family. I haven't seen them for 2+ years, so I do need to prioritise socialising with them because I won't be seeing them again for another year or two. Looking at Premier League yesterday, any real trading angles? Well, we got the late Crystal Palace equaliser, which I was delighted about. And it's all down to that Newcastle problem in London. The last 2 defeats came in London. So I took that on. Crystal Palace in play stats second half were emphatic. They have been scoring 2 goals away, but they've been struggling to score 2 goals at home. Nottingham Forest and Ipswich, again, as I say, it was on the list for over 2.5 goals. So 0-0 at half-time, back over 1.5 goals, and you'll make a profit with that single goal for Chris Wood, yet again. Who else, of course? Wolves and Bournemouth, again, over 2.5 goals coming in. Good result, this. Wouldn't necessarily have looked at a Wolves win, but Wolves scoring 2 goals yet again. Watch out for that pattern to continue. London derby, of course, and as mental as London derbies tend to be, don't tend to play derby-style matches. Over 2.5 goals for Rennes, and how? Wow, 1.55. Paris Saint-Germain, as I alluded to, another one of these post-Champions League shorties, and it would have been God, you'd have made a fortune laying all of these shorties yesterday. Feyenoord, PSG not turning up. It's Sporting Lisbon not even scoring after scoring 3 or 4 last weekend. Bundesliga, usual over 2.5 goal, as you can see here. It's one of the 60+% leagues for overs. I was umming and ahhing about a Bayern Munich equaliser against Dortmund, but it's a derby-style match, isn't it? Eredivisie, again, Feyenoord, the disappointment there. Barcelona, the obvious disappointment. But yesterday for us as well was all about badly timed goals which weren't allowed. We got a very juicy 2-2 Barcelona. Ferran Torres just at the right time because there was enough time left for Barcelona to get that 5th goal and the win. It was around here. Ferran Torres, what a pity, substituted as well. We went a lay of under 4.5 goals as well in this match, I think at half-time. That nearly came in as well. You would have made a £25 profit on that for about a £5 stake if you cashed out early. Alaves and Leganes, we got the late equaliser. Why? I was using soccerstats.com yesterday to investigate matches in a live environment. And this pointed out to Leganes conceding, I think it's 9 goals in the last half hour of away matches. Alaves, though, no draw in 12, but they'll be happy to end that sequence with a getting out of jail point. But let me just show you Leganes, and this is something I'm going to start doing live because we've got all the stats now. We've got the challenge table is warming up nicely. It's getting populated, and now you can start to see your patterns. Look at Leganes against the top 9. What do you think is going to happen when they're playing 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th again? They're failing to score at home against the top 6. So if they do score with home advantage, where do they start coming alive, Leganes, against 11th and lower? But let's talk about the conceding rate. It's all there in the goal times table here. Don't forget, home for the home side, away for the away side. Add another goal to that, of course. It was 9 goals conceded in the 61st to 90th minute yesterday. Make that 10. That's the kind of stat you look out for, particularly when you're playing late on. It was a Leganes lead as well, so it was a really good lay. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. And we did a few of those 0-1s yesterday, or 1-0s. Crystal Palace was an example. Leganes was an example. And you can get a really good play with these 1-0s if you can get that 1-1. So that's something to perhaps take out of yesterday, as was the just woeful underperformance. Look again, Red Bull Salzburg. What on earth's happened with this lot? Failing to score in 3 matches. Scored yet last week and lost. Scored this week and failed to win. Suddenly back to dodgepot material. Well, some exceptions. Club Brugge against Dender. That's what you expect of a 1.2 shot. That's what I was expecting of Paris Saint-Germain, Sporting Lisbon et al. Feyenoord et al. Yesterday. They're very disappointing. Something we're going to have to bear in mind now, today. These Champions League sides, Europa League sides, might underperform. And here's one, Aston Villa. They are away at Chelsea. It's a damning indictment, really, of Aston Villa's recent form, that they're 4.5 outsiders. But those of you in the know will know that Aston Villa do have that 2 goals in them away from home. That might blight any odds-on favourite backers of Chelsea. I think Chelsea's odds are far too short, unless there's an injury concern with Villa. But look at Villa away. There's an obvious slant, well, at least recently, before, of course, the wheels fall off, as they tend to do for these Champions League sides. But let's see if we can go there again. Well, the 2 goals have deserted them recently. But prior to that, 3-2. If they can just recapture that, 2-3, 2-2. If they can recapture that, then Chelsea's odds are going to be a little bit too short today. Aston Villa need to shake off this poor run and poor goal scoring away. Man United and Everton, new manager, of course, for Manchester United. You know what you're going to get with Everton? It's going to be thou shalt not pass with Everton. I can't give you an idea of how this will unpack. Already a 1-1 draw with Ipswich and conceding 2 goals to Bodo Glimt despite winning. It's not good stuff, is it? That's 3 goals conceded against very lower ranked sides. So there still might be some defensive issues with Man United, but very, very impressive goal scoring from Rasmus Højlund and Garnacho, the future of United. Tottenham and Fulham is a London derby, so just be a little careful with that, please. Similar story, Liverpool and Man City, and I'll be watching that with my brother, so the live chat will end a little earlier. French Ligue 1, Montpellier and Lille, post-Champions League. We trusted them last week, Lille, and although they were not as emphatic as the other Champions League sides, they still delivered last week. But you saw the pattern yesterday. They're not delivering this week, are they? So there we go. Lille against Rennes. It was a 1-0, but they delivered. You could trust them to deliver because the Champions League sides were performing last week. Le Havre and Angers. Notably, Le Havre have been on the wrong end of a few beatings, but the markets put them favourite today. So just take the hint. This might be the kind of opponent they can get a result from. Lyon and Nice. And again, another European side, couple of European sides. So just be very careful today. They've totally and utterly down tools this weekend. Monaco and Marseille is a Côte d'Azur derby. So I'd be very, very wary with that one. Mainz and the Hoffenheim scoring 4 goals against the hapless Leipzig last week. Leipzig getting battered yesterday as well. Do the Hoff have goals in them? Mainz again involved in European club competition. Just be careful with them. I would be favouring Eintracht Frankfurt today against Heidenheim. And in Italian Serie A, standouts there. Well, the big boys are away. Napoli, Juventus, and due deference to Fiorentina, who are the winning machine at the moment. Inter Milan are not even odds-on favourite. This is going to be a fascinating match. You cannot discount Fiorentina necessarily. They've just got the winning mentality at the moment, but they tend to be 1-0s, and that might not happen under Inter Milan. Don't forget, with Napoli, they're under Antonio Conte. This could be a bit of a snooze fest. Torino, reputation for under 1.5 goals. Napoli under Antonio Conte, reputation for tidying up that defence. Unders, 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 unders. 3-1-0s there for Torino. That's the recent pattern. Not stark contrast to October, you'll note. A new defensive coach, perhaps, fed up with conceding, scoring 2 goals and not winning on 3 occasions. Scoring 2 goals and not winning. Let's tighten that defence. Boom. That was a Turin derby. History's against Torino there. So take that out of the equation. You're getting a very defensively led Torino today. Likely you'll see the same with Napoli under Antonio. Unders. Again, derby-style match. Wouldn't take that. Derby-style match as well. Big names playing each other. Form lines are thrown out the window. But a strong pattern and a really tightening of that ship by Conte. This has got snooze fest written all over it. So some interesting matches today. Eredivisie, a league renowned for goals, and perhaps it's the neutral avenue we have to take today because we can't trust these Champions League sides. Ajax, PSV, Feyenoord, dominating but not scoring at all. AZ Alkmaar should take Heracles to town, newly promoted a couple of seasons ago and struggling this season. FC Twente, Ajax and PSV involved in Europe. So got to be a little wary. These sides haven't been turning up. For example, PSV could dominate against Utrecht today and just score that single goal that Barcelona, Feyenoord, etc. scored. La Liga, Villarreal impressed last week, didn't they? We took advantage and they really delivered. Real Madrid, oh boy, watch them. Don't forget, Sporting Lisbon 1.25, Feyenoord 1.25, Paris Saint-Germain 1.14, I think it was. All failing to score that second goal. Watch out for Real Madrid today. I wouldn't be taking that 1.33 to heart at all. I'll see you for a live stream, I think, at 3 o'clock. 2 o'clock, sorry. It's going to be one where we're going to have to tread warily. Trust issues now about these European sides post-Champions League, where last week there was no trust issues at all. Despite it being pre-Champions League, I thought there'd be some worry in the managers in that regard. Dinamo Zagreb, another one, likely to underperform post-Champions League. So caution required. I will be doing an over 2.5 goal list as well. That would be based mostly on the research. So I'll get onto that. I'll see you for a live stream at 2 p.m. It'll be a quick one, 2 till about 3:45. I look forward to seeing you. And we're going to have to be very, very cautious. We'll try to get some over 2.5 goals in and look for more of those 1-0s to 1-1s because those were excellent yesterday. Crystal Palace came in. Alaves came in. Those were the shining lights of yesterday. So I'll see you about 2 o'clock or thereabouts for a live stream.